Welcome back, everybody, to the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA series. We're back for round 4. We're back at Watkins Glen. First time in a couple of seasons that we've raced here. Looking forward to a race today. Only race I think we've ever had that's had a caution, so plenty of opportunity for exciting racing today. I'm joined by Kirby. Kirby, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, Watkins Glen, very fast track, but can get very narrow at points. If they all pile at turn 3, it could just end someone's day entirely. But before we get to the race, we have to do qualifying, of course, and currently what the GT3 field on track, 15 cars. Currently fields being led by...
That's Adam Jarvis in the 91?
Yes, 91, Adam Jarvis. And I looked at my timing screen, and it's showing me the 24 up top because nobody said lap time yet.
Yes, a really difficult qualifying lap to nail around here. We've got a couple of fairly long straights and a twisty straight that sort of goes from turn 1 all the way up to the bus stop chicane.
I forgot to say this earlier, but just so the new GT3s are also aware, GT3 qualifying will last 14 minutes, after which, once you've taken the checkered flag, we ask you to reset the pit lane.
And then we've got that tight, twisty final sector. That's our race director, Andy there. Just a quick reminder to a couple of new entrants in the GT3 field. So Adam Jarvis, first car through turn 1, uses the inside curb nicely and can use quite a lot of the curb on the exit here. You just got to make sure you don't go all 4 wheels off it. Then you can have a very, quite a nice advantage up through the rest of the track. You carry that speed all the way down to the bus stop.
That is a long straight in these GT3s. Get up in 6th gear, easy on the brakes, take as much of the curb as you dare, but you've got to get it pointed straight for the second part of the chicane. And then tight, get it down on the inside of the curb, Adam, just a little understeer perhaps, but does manage to get out fine, and then diving in towards the chute and into the toe.
Yeah, this is the more technical bit of the track coming up now. Really easy to understeer through this next corner, quite off camber as you come over the crest as well. So if you stay to the inside, you're fine, but if you get offline, it quickly slips away from you. Then you've got to pick your braking point really well into this next corner, which is actually a lot tighter than it appears. Matteo Vitali going well further down the road, but we follow on with Adam. You can use all the runoff there, and that's not an off track. So take advantage when you can. You don't necessarily need to use it, but it means you can carry a little bit more speed through the apex. Coming now into the final couple of corners. This section again, really technical. Now you're braking, you can carry a lot more speed through there than it looks like in the final corner as well. He's just lifting off, he doesn't really get on the brakes that much. Then pick up the throttle early, brush as close as you dare to the wall, and Adam Jarvis is going to cross the line and settles the benchmark time of a 1:44.351. That's quickly beat by Ignas Vincereskis, who does a 1:44.0, and then quickly beat again by Matteo Ubertali, who sets a 1:43.8. He's the quickest driver of the day so far. We've got more cars about to come across the line.
Trying to see, I think Glen must have invalidated the lap. Yannick Gerards would come home in 5th, Ted Jan Blumen getting 7th on this banker lap. Obviously, track limits are going to be the key thing for your qualifying times here, because it does seem to be the case with a lot of these tracks with the big straights. You want to push the limits as hard as you can on exit to try and get as much speed going as you can. But especially when this is designed as a NASCAR track, where track limits are merely suggestions. And the entirety of the runoff of T1 is in-game for them, but unfortunately for the GT3 drivers here, you do need to at least hold it to the apron. So that would be an off-track for whichever GT3 that was, as they take it. So Ubertali still P1, Fulch and Vincereskis 2 and 3. As Ubertali does set a purple sector 1, but currently unable to improve on the rest of the lap. It's very hard to put a lap together, because obviously you can get a decent lap time, or at least a decent first sector if you just get turn 1 correct. You're not going to lose too much speed through the rest of 2, 3, 4. But as soon as you get to that chicane, that's where you can really start damaging your lap time. If you're slightly off angle through the chicane with a loop, that's when you really start to lose lap time. Cross line for Adam Jarvis, who will get a 44.04. That'll give good enough for third. Vincereskis resecures 4th place. Oriol Falk goes P1 overall, and third 43.6, looking very speedy right now.
Yeah, it was a big jump from his previous lap time and goes 2 tenths clear of the previous provisional pole sitter. Got a couple of cars now in the pit lane getting ready to go out for that second run, 6 minutes into the 14-minute session, so about halfway through. Ted Jan Blumen picking up a really nice toe down the straight man. If it wasn't Ted, that was one of his teammates. Not quite sure who that was then.
As we all dive to the timer keeps to try and figure out who's who.
Yeah, Michael Kellenberger, new to the series for this race, along with Rens Verkerk, both their debut in the IMSA Racing Series. I think someone just hit the wall behind the camera there. But we'll follow along with Michael here in his first IMSA Racing IMSA Series qualifying event in the Audi. Takes the bus stop quite nicely.
Gets on the curb on the carousel as well. That's where you want to be. All the way to the inside as much as you dare. You can see how violent the cars move around when you take these curbs, but you really need to around here, because that's you straight line the corner as much as you can. Obviously optimal racing line, but even with the reprofiled track, they are still vicious curbs, so you do need to have some caution taken, and I imagine we'll see a lot less of it when we get into racing conditions. But for a single lap time, just to take it and hope suspension holds up. Daniel Morpy on a belter of a lap right now, though.
Yeah, here he is through the final corner. Purple middle sector. I think he had another purple sector as well. It's maybe nicked away by another driver, but this is definitely going to move him up the order. Not a final sector improvement though, so only 7 fastest, half a second off the pace overall, but that final sector was where he lost most of that time. The rest of the lap was very competitive, so we'll hopefully see him improve again. He's got a bit of a toe here up the stretch as well. Tejan Bloman looking for improvements, and he's got it so far this lap. It's not purple, but it's personal bests all across the board. Just the final sector to deal with now. Turns in, carry as much speed as possible like we discussed earlier on, and then into that final corner, a bit of a lift, maybe a tap of the brakes, use the full width of the track. Doesn't get as close to the wall as we've seen some of his competitors do during this race, but nevertheless across the line, and only improves up to 10th. We'll be looking for more than that, but the tyres, I think that was his first push lap, so the tyres maybe just need another lap to come into temperature a little bit more.
Couple of split strategies, excuse me, on the track right now, where cars are doing more than 2 laps in their stints to try and get lap times. As Anton already goes up into 10th place. And Jarvis with a lap to forget. And time ticking down. Just over 5 minutes left in qualifying for the GT3s. 14 minutes for these cars, and then we send the hypercars out.
Oriel Falk with 2 yellows and a purple sector 3 on this run, so aiming to improve his time, but it's yellow and purple so far. So he's going to need something a bit more impressive in the final sector if he wants to improve. Use all of that runoff. You can do that. Daniel Warpy moves up to P2 on that second run, so that's much more like what he would have been expecting. Oriel Falk is going to come across the line. Does he extend his margin at the front? No, he doesn't. He did go quicker though, according to my timing screen, so I don't know if he invalidated that lap with an off-track somewhere. Matteo Ubertali also looking to move back onto the front row, but lots of yellow on this lap so far. And that's not an improvement, about 10th off what he did last time, but he's got that second push lap to go now. Maybe try and pick up a toe down here. Not sure what traffic's in front of him. I think we just heard a car go past, so maybe a little bit too far away to be picking up a big advantage here.
I thought with the track being covered in all this cloud, we'd get cool track temps and people would actually manage to get a faster lap going, but they're currently struggling right now. So just there's a lot of yellow on these timing sheets.
Yeah, not much.
Jarvis still looking. I keep forgetting you can go so wide on that heel. It's all in track limits. It's wild. It's like the one corner on this track where you can just go that far out and not get a 1x, but...
Yeah. And it does make it a little bit interesting in the race, because somebody will go all the way out there and somebody will stay in the traditional track limits and try and make the driver on the outside back out and slot back in behind him. We'll see if we get any of that in the race. Adam Jarvis does improve then up to 4th place with that most recent lap, but he'll be hoping for a little bit more.
But just to follow to that, the exit of turn 8 also has grass on the outside, so if we get in that side-by-side situation, you need to be careful you don't get squeezed off, because there is a patch of green to your left that your tyres really aren't going to like.
Yannick Gerards improves up to P5 ahead of Mark Lopez. There's a black flag out there for Dave Van Eck. That will be automatic black flag, probably for speeding in the pit lane or an unsafe pit exit. So that will be cleared and he'll be back out on his way fairly promptly. Roman Dubert with a couple of greens. Not seen a completed lap from him yet. Using all that runoff there, that is completely allowed. Pit entry here will be a talking point during the race as well. Following iRacing's guidelines, you don't need to stay within the 2 yellow lines to pit here, as long as you're within those lines by the time you pass the cone, which is basically in the pit lane, I believe. You are all right. Roman Dubert with a 154, so don't believe that lap time actually counted. We're looking to improve a little bit further.
Yeah, that pit entry is going to be fun times indeed for anyone involved. 2-minute warning has been issued for the GT3s. A couple of cars resetting quickly. It's going to be tight. I see the 21 of Matteo Bertali leaving the pit lane. 24 staying in the pits. That's Daniel Morphy. I think he's going to have to stay there for the rest of the session. I don't think he can get around before the checkered flag. But I don't know that Ubertali makes it around in time, so we'll keep you dated on that one.
Evan Saraski's looking for improvement here in the McLaren. I don't know if you've got final sector. Does he use much runoff? Not as much as we've seen some others. This is the most tricky corner on the track, in my opinion. Really unloads the car as you come over the crest. Really easy to lose the rear end. Really not as high speed as the rest of the track. Coming through that final sector now as well. A little bit early to the apex, but uses a lot more of the runoff, and we're seeing some other drivers willing to do. Is it an improvement? It's not, by around 400ths of a second, so I think that'll be it for Ignis, because he's not going to make it round for another lap now.
Dayton Bertrescu's will probably start from P7 at best. Dubert comes across the line, hasn't had a lap time yet.
Moving up to P11.
Ooh, okay, 44.7.
So nothing incredible, but he'll be happy with that, considering he seems to have had one valid lap in the session. I imagine he'll go again, if the tyres can take another lap, that is, at a full push.
And the time ticks down, and I'm looking at the 21. Does he make the line? Ooh, 2 seconds to spare, and he will come across before the checkered flag comes out.
Matteo Ubertali was on the front row earlier on in the session. He's been demoted down by that impressive lap from Daniel Morphy, and that being one of the two BMWs racing. Let's see if he can improve. We'll follow this lap. There's not many people still running out there. Adam Jarvis was maybe looking to improve. No, he's not. He's got a black flag.
No, he aborted right at the last second. He's just let him swing hard right into the pit lane. So it'll be Verkerk currently leading the field to the checkered flag.
So Verkerk on debut in the series, pulls off to the pit lane. So BMW there about to take the checkered flag. That's the 93, I believe. Mark Lopez doesn't improve. Dave Van Eck will be next across the line. He does improve up to P10. Tejan Bloman will be next as he's coming through that final sector now. Avale coming on the radio there. That's a hypercar saying that's a mistake. The eyes of the pit lane as well, so Bloman bails out. Not many cars left to come. I believe it's just Lemray who'll be looking to improve from that bottom grid slot, although I know, having spoken to him earlier in the day, he's just planning on trying to survive this race. He didn't last time we were here.
I believe, though, that looks very wide on the exit of turn 10, so I don't think this lap is going to count.
Good point, yeah, picked up a 1x. So all that's left to do is Matteo Ubertali looking to improve, but it's yellows and a green. It's not really enough. He's carried on the lap, so clearly thinks there's maybe potential as he takes the line, and it is an improvement, actually, but doesn't move him any further up the grid, unfortunately. So Matteo Ubertali will tow back to the pit lane as we see the hypercars in their usual little silly stance of queuing up on pit exit, hoping for the best line, trying to get us a shot of some of the drivers queuing. There they are. So Alvaro Gutierrez, often a keen driver to get out there early on, is going to be the first to go. It doesn't mean he can do his warm-up his way, doesn't need to worry about what any of the cars in front of him are doing, and he is pushing. It clearly feels that's the way to get the temperature into the tyres. For those of you who weren't with us a couple of seasons ago, the incident that we had that caused the safety car to be needed was coming up over that crest and a blockage on the track, and the caution was called to slow down the rest of the field who were still approaching that part of the track. So watch out for that today, especially after what happened in Spa at round 1 with the cold tyres. We've got a short formation lap here as well, so they'll grid up not far, only about 2 corners from the start line, so cold tyres going through that sector could be a big risk today. We'll see what happens. Liam the Cock as well, remember he qualified fairly well in that BMW last season, but he had a failed start. He kind of had a little jump start, having gone back over it with the race control team. We didn't catch it fully on stream, but he had a jump start and then had to back off, and was clearly trying to time it with his teammate and misjudged it on the throttle, lifted off to avoid getting the penalty, and then fell all the way down the order, and then it was a recovery mission from then on. Alvaro Gutierrez just hit the wall on his warm-up lap, his out lap, so it looks like he's carried on, so clearly wasn't too big a clunk and too big of a hit to the wall.
Weight-saving tactics. just take up a piece of the front wing. What could possibly go wrong? As Gutierrez will dive it down into turn 1. Take as much of the curve on exit as you dare. Cameron completely wrong position to catch that one. Absolutely vicious sounding coming up the S's.
Staying well off the
Before you
curbs.
catch it, it's gone.
With the bus stop here, we're going to see him get right up to the wall. There you go. Nearly takes the camera with him. And on the exit as well, using everything. Eloy Caballero has gone purple in sector 1 of the cars that have gone through there so far. There's more to go. Albert Preem, I believe that is, following closely behind Alvaro. Impressive race from Albert Preem last time out, winning the race with a slightly different strategy. His home race at Zandvoort. The series made its debut event there, but we're back at a familiar track, as we've said a couple of times now, Watkins Glen. Pretty common. That's a race control instant notice to check Discord for car 22.
Ren's for Kirk.
So that'll
For
be
Kirk, excuse me.
something that happened in qualifying, I believe. Try and find an update of that.
Incidents for check Discord. That is that is up there with hot smell as far as race control messages go, I believe. Gutierrez will come across line 28.2. Gutierrez 0.4 off the pace. No, Gutierrez is the 1.4 off the pace because it's Preem P1 currently with Caballero almost setting the same time, only 12 thousandths off of that, with Verdonk now taking third.
I believe that is a broadcast issue that race control are discussing rather than a race issue, so we'll not worry about that for now. Not a problem for us. Jeffrey Ross goes fastest in the BMW. Another impressive performance from him. The BMW making a bit of a comeback this season, actually. No Acuras on the grid at all, which is a big change, as we've discussed a couple of times. Avale goes purple in sector 1. Into the boot. A little bit wide at the apex.
See where he gets it in here. Also looking wide. He's going to try and tuck it on the next one. I still think he's got a lot of track to his right hand side there. Definitely playing it safe here. Early apex there. Gets a decent chunk of the track on the exit though.
Purple sector 4 as well to add to this lap. Oh no, that's Caballero, sorry. That's got the purple sector 4. We're following Avale, who's got the purple sector 1 and 4 now. Caballero is going to come across the line. That is an improvement. That puts him on provisional pole. What can his teammate do? Gets really up close to the wall. Doesn't get the off-track base, so this could be a big improvement for Juanto Avale, who goes up to P3. I feel like he lost a little bit of time in that final sector. Bails out in turn 1, so that's that run over for him. We've got just under 10 minutes left, 9 minutes now in the session. Liam de Kock goes across the line. It's all greens for him, but it doesn't move him any further up the order. He sits in P7, about half a second off the car in front, 9/10 off the leader. He'll have been hoping for a lot more. Emre Kamalda currently sat in P8, wasn't able to improve in sector 1, but will be looking to do so everywhere else in the lap, and he will do if he can do it in sector 5, which he does. But I think there must have been an off track during that lap because that is not recorded. Unfortunately for him, Albert Preem, after the success of last week, will be looking to be a little bit higher on the grid than 4th, although he wasn't on the front row last week, just outraced everybody. Made clever use of the traffic in the GT3 field as well. Riding the curves really well in the Cadillac, yeah.
I think he's got a car in front of him as well.
Gets out of the way nicely here, though.
So I think that could be a small bit of draft then down towards the toe of the boot. Don't know, he's too far away to pick up the draft of the car in front now. But he's still looking very good in terms of pace. Only needs to find 400s to get a position here.
And that's it's not an overall fastest middle sector, but it's pretty close to the fastest time we've seen. Oh, we're loose on the exit of the boot. Now coming into the final complex. use all the runoff he can, and he doesn't use that much actually, surprisingly, not unsettling the car on the curbs too much, run right up to the wall, and he does. Coming to the line now, yellow 2 final sectors does improve up to P3, but he'll have been hoping for more. It looks like he's got enough fuel to go again, so he will.
Meanwhile, the two Iridium Motorsport cars running next to each other behind, giving each other probably a huge draft up these S's and down towards the inner loop.
It looks like it's Eloy's turn to tow his teammate around this time. But Alvaro not that quick behind him, actually. Perhaps losing out a little bit through the bus stop, etc., with that lack of grip from the dirty air coming off the teammate's car in front. As the teammate gets all over the grass with Eloy Cabinero, who sets the purple middle sector and has probably thrown away the lap a little bit with that, and he did. That was an off track for him, and Alvaro's also had an off track this lap, so I think that'll be aborted for the both of them, but they're going to just keep the tyre temp, keep it going and go again because they'll have enough battery for 2 consecutive push laps. And you really need that. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Cabinero is still in P1 with Ross Preem chasing. Gap's a little bigger than I would have perhaps expected given the short lap time around here, but still looking okay. And there's also 2 drivers yet to set lap times as Verdonk improves time but not position. Preem puts it on top with a purple final sector.
Mega final sector, yeah. Sector 2 and Sector 3 weren't anything special. Yellow for him, and that's a big improvement in the final sector to move himself that far up the order. Carlos Pons sets a lap time finally. He'll be happy with that. Only P8, but at least he's got something on the board. And that's all over the grass there for the previous provisional pole sitter who dies out the way of his teammate. He's going to reset to pits to get a freshly recharged battery and go straight back out. Emery Camaldao goes up to P4. They'll be pretty happy with that. Liam de Kock is going to try and find improvement. He has pretty much everywhere and comes across the line, and it's a 28.6, so that doesn't move him any further up the order, unfortunately. So he'll be looking for more once again. Alvaro Gutierrez is off as well. Not sure what happened there. See if we can find that. Here you go.
I'm guessing it's just been off tracking to retire. Oh, big loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that point, it's like you aren't saving it. You burn through your battery probably. Just get the car back to pit lane and go again. You've got time to get out there and do 2 laps. So,
Pons
looking all you can.
Improvement here with the tow from the teammate car in front. We're pointing out as well, we might see drivers. There we go. Is what I was going to say. We might see cars that are really quick, but they're going to struggle with the tyre management over a stint. And if they're struggling with the tyre management over a couple of laps, we are going to see some drivers that really struggle throughout the race. I think you really, really push the front tyres here. This is Emre Kamal.
Yeah, obviously, like, these are quality setups. They aren't going to be race pace, but they seem very loose around these corners right now. Presumably the race setups are going to be a lot tighter than this, but they just feel like they've just got nothing in the rears right now. Probably to try and protect the fronts a little bit more, but...
Yeah, you would hope so, but I think we're going to see a big shift in pace from some cars to others in the race if people are managing the tyres better. Oh, and very wide there for Emre Camaldo, who will invalidate that lap.
We call that the NASCAR line, which is unfortunately not the IMSA line. That'll be a reset to pits. Get out there while you still can. 3.5 minutes left in the session means you can get 1 lap in before the checkered flag, so you can get your 2 laps that get you tyres at full heat and then get a proper send on that second push lap.
Albert Preem improves in the first sector with a very good time, 22.8. It's yellow in that second sector, but we saw him go to pole with 2 yellow sectors before. I think he's already one of the fastest cars through sector 2 as well, so it doesn't necessarily mean it was a slow sector. Let's go on board as we go through the left-hander here, the hairpin. You can see how loose the car's going to get. Just unloads very well and a little bit loose on the exit. Very careful on the throttle there. You could hear how cautious he was being, and it was probably upshifted a little bit early to try and give himself a bit more traction. carriers. Oh, very close to the wall there. Albert Preem, 2 greens, 1 purple, and 2 purples now with a yellow. Does improve, goes even further away from the rest of the field. That's going to make the job that Elo Cabinero is trying to do as he comes through the final corner even more difficult. What's he going to be able to do? He was purple in one sector, and it is an improvement, but it's not going to get in pole position.
I think people are going to struggle. I think Preem's got this. That is an insane lap time compared to what the field was doing. 27.5. My goodness.
2-minute warning there.
Warning
so
has come out.
Yeah, we will get another run if you want to, if you're quick enough out of the pit lane now. It's about 1:30 for a push lap, and you won't have the hybrid turned on that lap, but you will be pushing to get temperature into the tyres. So it's just about doable if you get out of the box now, but any later, and that's it over.
Preem's
really
just left the box. He's going to get one more lap in, but that's going to be it.
And we're pointing out that will only be 1 lap as well, so the tyres won't be fully up to temperature on the first push lap, you'd have to say.
Gutierrez comes across an improvement. Ross comes across no improvement. Ponce potentially with this setup could get. Well, I mean he's 2 seconds off the pace currently, so you have to believe this would be an improvement of sorts. Not by much.
Not of the magnitude he would have been hoping for, would have to say. Liam de Kock, after being on the front row last week, is struggling for pace. The BMW is maybe struggling a little bit overall as well, but he is about 7/10 off the pace of his teammate. He'll have been hoping to be a lot closer than that. And he's really wide. He's really struggling here. I'm hoping he's got something a little bit different in the car for the race, because this setup's really not working for him. And he's and there we go, yeah.
Oh, that's the one you don't want.
And that's going to ruin the lap of Emre Kamaldar behind if Liam's not able to reset quick enough, and he is. Albert Preem might just get away with it. In fact, Albert Preem on an out lap, isn't he? So he'll be alright with that one. Emre was on a push lap though, I believe, so that's really unfortunate for the driver of the 305, but their focus is maybe on this second lap, yeah.
Yeah, given the sectors, I don't think that was a real push lap. Gutierrez, though, does look like he's on a real push lap. Was P7.
Now P3.
And puts it up to P3. 27.7 as the checkered flag flies. Gonna be happy with that one. That's just taken from, like, what is that, 4th row to 2nd row? Not bad at all. Ponce gonna be the next car across the line. A chance for improvement potentially there. It is a decent improvement for Ponce, but it's still going to be P9 and shotgun on the field here. So Volley, the next car, coming to the line. Takes it out wide.
Oh, into the wall.
Bit too wide. Oof. Vicious hit. That'll be a retirement of the car. Volley will go 6th at best. 5 cars left on the track. Leader of those, Eloni Cabinero, currently P2. And I'll be honest, unless this is the best Sector 1 of all time, of Sector 5, excuse me, I don't think he's going to improve position-wise, but could...
It is a lap time improvement, gets really close to the driver in front. Him and Albert Preem are on identical laps for the first 3 sectors. Cabinero slightly quicker than Preem through Sector 4, but I think Preem's done all he needs to do, unless Gutierrez can find a mega final sector, and he's going to use all of the runoff, and he hits a wall as well, I think, there. Just a brush, but I think we heard that metallic scrape, and it's not an improvement, a 10th off what he had been able to do previously, and I think that's going to be it. Eloy Cabinero is still running around, but I believe they've had to checkered flag long before he did. So yeah, that's it for him. And Kamaldar seems to still be going, but is coming to a halt, I believe. Yeah, there we go.
That last corner is going to be vicious during the race. You see how hard people are pushing it in qualifying, obviously. They're going to push it harder there just because that's how you make lap time. But Watkins Glen turn 11 does not have an inch to take. That's a wall. You're hitting a wall. So, yeah, it's going to be very dangerous, especially on this opening lap, because again, shorts formation lap, cold tyres, full send, I'm scared. I won't lie, I'm scared.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a caution on lap 1 or lap 2, especially through those S's as they come up the hill. We saw some very loose cars in qualifying, and I know, like you said, they do have different setups for the race and for quality, but I think it's going to be challenging. You still want your qualifying and your race setup to have fairly similar characteristics. Often, what a lot of people will do is just take the race setup and take a little bit of fuel out of it, and well, a lot of fuel out of it, I suppose, and maybe adjust the ride height a little bit to get away with what you can make legal in qualifying. But I think that'll be the main differences that we actually see as Lemro takes a run off there and warm up.
I don't know if I prefer Watkins Glen with or without the chicane. It is very funny without the chicane, but I think it's probably a better track overall. Either way, qualifying results for the GT3 category, and it will be Oriel Falk who will be leading the field to the green flag for the Conic Racing. Daniel Morphy will be alongside as a privateer. Matteo Battaglia will be third for Absolute Motorsport Acelith, with Adam Jarvis for the Conic Racing in fourth place. Yannick Gerards will come in fifth, with Mark Lopez in 6th, Ingus Vintreskis in 7th, Sven Elmers in 8th, Rens Verkerk in 9th, and Dave Van Ekman's at the top 10 for Velocity Racing. Further down the field, Paolo Antinori for Absolute Motorsport Aceless will start in 11th place. He'll have a Romain Dubert for company. The 67th, Ted-Jan Bloman for DLRX SimLab will be 13th. He'll start alongside Michael Kellenberger for MG Esports. 15th place sees Jose Carlos Villarejo for Go Esports, and 16th in shotgun on the field, Mateo Emery for Drakheim Racing Team.
Yeah, I'll take you through the GTPs now. So, as we got a spinner in warm-up, Albert Preem, as we said, was on pole position with that early dominating lap, and then went even quicker at the end, which did save his pole position in the end, with Eloy Caballero able to get within a tenth of the Dutchman for Iridium Motorsport, and his teammate Alvaro Gutierrez will be starting behind. So let's see what they can do to work together against Albert Preem. Emery Kamaldar will be starting P4, Jeffrey Ross P5, Juanto Avale in P6, Quinton Verdonk P7, Liam de Kock in P8. He'll be disappointed with that, but there's definitely time to improve in the 60-minute race, and Carlos Pons will probably be happy with that time. He won't be happy with that position, but he found a lot of time throughout the qualifying session, and let's see what he can do in the race as well.
So this is where it gets spicy for the GT3s. You have a hypercar that really wants to slice through you. He's gonna be on the outside of the loop, but then he probably wants to be on the outside of the chute as well. So he's gonna move across a lot, and that's when you can really get traffic sliced to pieces. Ooh, bit of trading paint there. Shout out to our favourite skin hosting and data leaking websites.
Yeah, and we'll get to see.
That's an old cut now.
Been around for too
As
long.
your weekly reminder, the race will not start on the green flag. The race will start when your class leader goes within the start zone, as indicated previously. Other than that, I wish you the best of luck and enjoy.
Some beautiful advertisement there for the Dutch Racing League from Ted Dan Blowen, who spins in the perfect position for that camera. It's good to get it out of the way now, while it's still warm, while it doesn't really count for anything, because obviously if that happens during the race, he's not going to be too happy with himself. 1 minute left in this warm-up, and then it becomes very real. There's two hypercars chasing a GT3 into the chicane. It's a very dangerous position to be in. Because obviously you don't really want to be side by side going into the bus stop, because that's how you get wiped out. That's how my team got wiped out of the 6 hours of the Glen, I think it is. I can't remember now. The special event Glen race. Tried to overtake a car here, and we ended up being side by side on entry, and we got tagged. And that barrier on the outside of the bus stop chicane is lethal. We hit it at 40 kilometers an hour and got 6 minutes required. It was not pleasant. Be careful around there. Keep it single file. Be patient. You'll have time on the rest of the race. I say that, but that was also, for me, it was a 6-hour endurance race. This is only a 1-hour sprint, so we should have had patience. These guys might not have the option of doing so.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that much patience. especially on lap one. There's a lot to be gained on lap one, especially in the GT3 class, where it can be very difficult to overtake throughout the rest of the race. If you can make up 5 positions on lap one, that is 10 times easier than making up 1 position throughout the race, especially if you're doing it on track rather than with your pit strategy.
Here we are then, the calm before the storm, as we see virtual Burt Mightlander, who's being labelled as Rensverkirk. That's not even Rensverkirk, that's Wanto Wavale. The cameraman doing his best to keep up. 9 GTPs, 16 GT3s on the field as they line up. We'll see how many of them survive to the end, see how many of them survive through lap 1.
Yeah, so
it's going to be
they get 3 corners to get the tyres up to temperature. 1 little straight bit, and that's it. We saw some issues at not Le Mans, Bar, when we had the short warm-up lap. Let's hope we don't see a repeat of that today. I think probably people being a little bit less eager. We are on round 4. It's not round 1 anymore, so people aren't as keen to make a statement early on.
I will say as well, 2 corners to get tyres up to temp, 2 tyres to get a class split going as well.
Yeah, those GT3s are going to have to sit stationary for a little bit to build up that gap. They're aware of what that gap is, and the reason for that gap is if there's an incident in a GTP field, they have time to gather themselves up before the GT3s get there. So GT3 leader is now moving at a slow pace off the line. Have been some revisions recently to the regulations for those GT3 cars, mainly regarding the pace on the formation lap and the consistency of that pace. But we're going to watch the GTP start here with Albert Preem. I'll hand over to you, Kirby.
So Preem will drag the field, 9 hypercars in tow to the green flag. Barney gets it out, waves the flag. We are racing here at Watkins. Glen already 3 wide for 4th place, down towards turn 1. They have to get this sorted, and someone backs out on the inside there. Send it out wide. That is Emery Camildar who goes out to the outside there. Gets it single file just about coming up the hill as the GT3s now take the green flag as well. As Romain Dubert taking a pit lane start instead of going with the rest of the field. Hypercars have made it through the S's safely as they all pilot at turn 1. Minor tap there between, I think Marco Lopez goes around. Big contacts. Does manage to get spun right way around though. Will drive off as the rest of the field now up the S's they go. Oriol Falk side by side. Yannick Gerards just edges up in front, gets given the space there. Be very happy with that one as they now make the charge in towards the bus stop. I think we've made it through mostly unscathed, aside from that one incident. The rest of the field filters through. No incidents so far. Gutierrez in 3rd, trying to hold off Camildar. Turning the bumper a little bit. Running Motorsports running 235 right now. There's, Kellenberg around the outside there. Oh no, sorry, he's the defending car. He's being overtaken.
Mattel Lemon has had a pretty good start. He's up about 4 places from where he started, and he's racing well. Back on the attack though, Michael Kellenberger is going to try and go down the inside here.
This should be a hell of a dive if he makes it. He's going to try it though. Later on the
there's going to be contact, and they both keep it going.
Just get squeezed on the apex there. Not what you want to see. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's a little tap to the rear just saying, hey, watch it. As we see the hypercars now filter through, they are all single file. They are just trying to chase
the car up in the background.
Liam de Kock into the barrier. Might have been an internet contact there that showed more damage than it actually happened. Mark Lopez is sideways in the pit lane. I'm not sure what happened there.
I'm not sure either. We'll try and get a replay. Another car off there.
Another car
Matteo Vitali. Paolo Antonori, off at turn 1.
Oh, it's all happening now.
Let's have a look at what happened here. Got another car off in the background already there.
I believe that might be Mark Lopez, who is
All on his own, going to get loose on the curb. Yeah.
You can't take 2 bites that curb. If you go over it, you have to stay over it. You cannot come across it, otherwise the blood gets stuck on the left.
This is what happened to Mark Lopez on pit lane entry. Oh, given the back of Teddy Blowman, I think that is, on one of the other DLR cars, and conveniently enters the pit lane. He did get a meatball though, so not too bad for him. Liam de Kock also got a meatball. This is the instant for Liam de Kock. I believe he just made the pass going on the way into the bus stop, and then, oh, it's really unfortunate. He nearly got away with it as well. He has got a meatball, so he must have some sort of broken suspension.
Oh yeah, no, that front tyre does not look like it's going in a happy direction.
Trying to find the lap one.
Neither front tyre looks like it's going in a happy direction.
Incident for you all. So this is what happened on lap 1, not this. This is what happened on lap 1 in turn 1 in a GT3 field. Oh, it's just a
just get stacked up and turned.
Classic lap 1 incident. See what race control think of it. It is under investigation. There's Paolo Antonori's in the pit lane after having that bidding breath to start side by side.
Ooh.
In the GTP field, Quinton Verdonk struggles to hold on. That's Jeffrey Ross making the move to get past him.
Just getting very aggressive, trying to look around the outside of the toe, but there's no doing there. Kemal Murray and Gerard's under investigation, for instance. GT3s filter through. Now down towards the bus stop. The gap should start to extend here, so the drama should start to calm down momentarily.
Oh, Dave Van Eyck has a look on Sven Elmers for P2 in class. He'll be feeling frustrated here. I think he thinks he's losing time to Rens Leclerc, who is making his debut in the series. Who is the next car up the road from these two. So Dave Van Eyck can still see him up the road, and he'll be hoping to get past and up into P2.
So Liam de Kock air quotes leads the the hypercar field towards the back of the GT3s. He's closing in rapidly. This is only a 15, maybe more like a 14-second difference on race trim between these two in lap time. So that gap probably only closing 6 laps, and we are getting there very quickly. Especially with the fact that we had the classless as well, so should start seeing traffic become a factor very shortly. Now, I will say the leaders do have an advantage in that because Liam de Kock did have to take that unscheduled pit stop, is currently going to hit the field first. He's going to force them to get it all single file and sorted out, so by the time the rest of the hypercar field gets there, should be fairly easy to overtake. As one lap, for instance, David Eck, Les Lopez, and who is the 67?
Teddy
Blowman. Yeah, racing incident through them.
It's that big stack up we saw in turn 1, so not surprised to see
yes.
that. Call the racing incident. Tell you what, isn't going to be a racing incident. Dave Van Eyck is going to try and go past Sven Elmers into the bus stop, and there's a little bit of weaving there. Race control won't be happy. Side by side through the bus stop never ends well, and they both escape. There's a little bit of damage on the back of Sven Elmers' Porsche. Look at that bent in there. I'm not sure if there was contact between the two of them then. Race control might have a look at that if Dave Van Eyck comes on the radio. I wouldn't be surprised if he has done to race control. We've not heard anything, but it wouldn't surprise me. Carlos Villarejo toes to pit lane. Not sure what happened there. Let's have a look.
That car's already sideways.
Through the bus stop. Oh, yeah. Too much curve.
Yeah.
Could have told you that without having to look at the video, to be totally honest. Right, leaders making their way through traffic now. Albert Preem, who capitalised on it last time to get into the lead, will be hoping that his rivals aren't able to do the same today, and he has got that 1.2 second buffer, which will make it a little bit easier for him.
Camineros went 3 wide with 2 GT3s coming in at turn 9. Brave move there from the hypercar driver, trying to get these positions as fast as he can. Because obviously you don't want to leave anything on the table when it comes to passing these GT3s. You want to get faster than everyone around you so you can close up those gaps.
Emery was looking to use a traffic to attack. He's going to have to defend now to Juan Tervale, who's really close behind him. A bit offset through turn 1 though, so that'll help Emery up the hill.
Yeah, it's very hard
there's
to make
something funny
overtakes
going on
through
in front of
traffic.
it. Oh, down the inside, and he makes it through nicely, Alvaro. That was really close to being a bad moment.
Don't want to be the outside car coming up the hill there, because that barrier closes up on you very quickly. Obviously, if you're the GT3, you are set up to try and take all the advantage on a straight line. You are not set up to try and go around the outside of that corner, so it can be very sketchy coming up there. So Elmers will hold off Dave Van Eyck for now as all the hypercars breeze by. See what happens in the rest of that fight.
Caballero all over the back of Albert Preem, who's been held up a little bit in this traffic. They're making their way through the lead pack now. Preem gets through nicely. Caballero is surely going to go for a move here on at least one of his GC3s if he wants to keep this fight for the lead alive in this stage. And he got through on, I believe that's Ubertali, which is what he needed to do. This is Daniel Morphy up ahead, who's going to stick on the inside. Preem's made it through a little bit sooner than him. That'll help him out. Preem had a 1.2 second buffer. That's been eaten away in this traffic. There's flashing lights from Alvaro Gutierrez there. He's surely going to go down the inside, and he does. Runs quite wide on the exit, trying to make it work. And he's held up a little bit there through the final corner. He's going to have a good run on his teammate, but Emre Kamaldar able to carry a little bit more speed than these two as well.
Action left, right, and centre. As
Quinton Bedont looking to make the move to get back past Jeffrey Ross. He's not able to, but he's going to get a great run up the hill here, I think, in the Porsche.
But where's he going to go? There's no space in this traffic. All you can do is filter behind and hope for the best. He had the opportunity there and just couldn't get on the brakes.
Yeah, he's not able to make it, but you've got to be a lot longer, a lot closer and more alongside going into the bus stop if you want to pull that off. He's going to have to stick behind for at least another lap. Emre Kamaldar is right behind Alvaro Gutierrez for the final podium place in the overall finishing order. Dave Van Eyck still on.
Oh, Paolo Antonori, big spin into the barrier in a loop.
Take a look at this.
Takes a tow.
I think he was just back out of the pit lane as well, because he's already a couple of laps down, I believe. And what's going to go wrong here?
About patience coming into the bus stop.
Yeah. And that's contact, yeah. Well, that was inevitable, I think. Don't really know what he was doing now. He's not racing either of those cars. Obviously frustrated with the way his race has gone earlier on. And that's another meatball, and I think he's already used his fast repair. It's day over for him.
Unfortunate end then, Palantonori. Mark Lopez also showing he's disconnected from me.
Instant here for Jose Carlos Villarejo.
Looks very slidey there. I don't know if that was just me.
Don't know if he's already
been
got
damage potentially.
Damaged, yeah. What's going to go wrong here? Oh, just pulls off the track.
That is I don't want to drive this car in its current state. I'm taking a tow.
Yeah. Dave Van Eyck still one of the closest cars to making an overtake. And he's just stuck here. And look, you can see the time they're losing to Renz Verkerk up ahead. And he'll be really feeling this now. Stuck behind the Porsche. We've seen him have a couple of goes. A couple of looks down the inside, but not really close enough to make anything stick so far.
So this is the problem with the GT3s, and that you can get up to speed. Oh, it's a dive attempt? No, gets back in line.
Oh, but he does. Sticks his nose in a little bit. Offsets the Porsche a little bit. I think he might be going for a move here. Just trying everything he can. Flashes the headlights.
Did he get cut off? I don't know.
They did make contact there. There was a 4X for the two cars. Let's take a look at it again.
That looked very clumsy.
There's a bit of weaving there as well again. Surprise Race Control aren't looking at this yet. Yannick Girard's been off track. Let's take a look at what happened there. Yeah.
In my head, you're allowed one defensive move. He makes the move and then realizes the car isn't going to get there, gets to the inside again, and then they make contact in the apex anyway. I'm not sure what's happening.
I'm surprised
Either way, I think
that Dave Van Eyck hasn't at least been on the radio to Race Control yet.
I mean, this is the stock car driver. I'm surprised we haven't seen the old punt to pass, but I feel like that would get Race Control involved very quickly.
Yeah, that's one way to guarantee Race Control. We'll take a look at the incident a bit more closely. he's just not quite got enough overspeed. So what Van Elmers is doing here is running a very skinny... That's that instant we saw that put Antonori out of the race again. Elmanek now is under investigation. So that's the incident on the previous lap with the 4X. So that'll be going to race control. They'll have a couple more camera angles on us to look at where the incident actually occurred. I think they made contact on the straight, if I'm being totally honest. So that's probably why Van Eck was flashing his light. So to the inside here to defend... Then that is a double move, I think. It does come back across, but is it for the braking? It's really hard to tell because it kind of looks like it's in reaction to what
it does look
Van Eck
very
is doing.
late to make that move back, in my opinion. I will agree with you, actually.
Because I will say there's definitely a right to come back to the braking zone if you don't think the car behind is making a move. But that car behind has already said that's where I'm going and they're that close. I think you need to allow them to have that line. And in total honesty, I don't think he really needs to defend into that. At the moment, anyway, it looks like, unless he has a poor run, that Van Eck isn't going to get close enough.
Van Eck just seems to get the runs going up the chute in towards the chicane, but just on the rest of the track, it just doesn't seem like he has the overall pace to make the overtake anywhere else. So it's his best move, and if he's getting shut off, I can see him getting very frustrated at it. Worst. See what happens this time around then. They'll come through the final corner. David keeps it very close to the apex through the corner there. Elmer's peeling away a little bit, that gap closing, they get under braking. Later entry for Van Eck should mean he's got a better shot down here.
Looks to be
and you can see that gap close up immediately. Yeah. Go with the onboard view for this time around. As they'll get the run. Van Eck will move to the right. No, he'll stick to the left this time.
Oh, and then he comes back across now.
You can't do that! Oh, come on, Elmers. I'm mad.
I think Race Control will be looking at this now.
Oh. That is how you get punked past. Because if I'm Dave Van Eck there, I'm seeing there's a car
try and go around
on the inside line.
Yeah, he's getting a bit desperate now, and understandably, I think they lost 8 seconds to the leader in class now.
No, I think that's just him taking his line and Elmer's washing out a bit. If I'm honest, I'm not going to dive here. I think he's a bit too far back. I think they're on different markers through these corners. That's what that was. But he does look a lot closer this time by Van Eck, so definitely looking out for him.
Leaders are getting up to the back of the GT3 field again.
Yep, Albert Preem will be leading the charge. Field has...
We're going to try and go around the outside here as the Porsche dies for the pit lane. So an early stop there for Van Eck. He's been given a warning for moving under braking by race control now.
That was Elmer's who came into the pit lane.
Yeah. Releases Van Eck to try and chase after the leader. Let's see what he can do. Preem under attack again now through this traffic. He's lost out about half a second in the final sector of the last... In fact, a full second in the final sector of the last lap that he lost to Eloy Caballero.
Hunt back on then. See what happens then. There's not going to get anything going for a while here, and the next GT3s aren't for a while. And here they are.
Oh, three wide, and he just makes it down the inside, and then boxed in behind Eloy Caballero. That's going to give Albert Preem a big bit of breathing room. Back up to a second now, the gap.
That's what I'm saying, though. You have to make these high... Sometimes you just have to get past the GT3s, because otherwise you're the one getting boxed in on the apex of a slow corner. You have to get past people, otherwise you just hemorrhage lap time. Preem knows this, and he's making full advantage of it, and has pulled away almost a second now to Eloy Caballero. Now Keldar's getting pinched on the apex by GT3 as well, so he's losing out back in P4 there.
Daniel Morphy to the pits in the GT3 Pro field.
So this feels early to me.
It does to me as well. Don't know if they're doing something a little bit different.
I'll give my normal speech about normal strategy. We run reduced fuel tanks in the NXL Racing IMSA series, so you're normally pitting about 22 to 25 minutes, depending on just where you are on the track when you come across pit road. Do that twice, get a small fuel tank for your final run, get to the end. More than two cars, a few cars coming in a bit early, perhaps taking damage, repairs.
Yeah, possibly. You're also getting yourself out of the traffic, which seems to be exceptionally costly today, at least for GTPs, and I imagine will be costing the GT3s as well as the faster class make their way through. So maybe just trying to give himself a bit of breathing room, especially if he feels he's boxed in behind other GT3s and he's unable to make the move. Albert Preem's extended his gap here quite successfully. Emre Kamaldar is the driver that's going to be able to make the most effect of his traffic, as that looked almost choreographed as they made their way through there. Elmanet, that 4X deemed a racing incident. Dave Van Eyck probably won't be too bothered. I'll tell you what though, he's not really gained on Rensverkerk. Oh! Slipping and sliding there for Alvaro Gutierrez as he makes his way through. Hunter Avali is going to make an attack here, I think.
Yeah. It's definitely going to think about it in terms of that. Just because Avali got a little bit offset by the GT3 who's overtaking, he's going to lose a little bit of that time. So he can build a run up through turn 1 and towards the chicane, because that's where you really have the best chance of making a move, I think. Ross and Verdonk looking close as well. I think Ross has the advantage though, just coming through turn 1. Oh, that GT3 is going to ruin everything. Just catching the car at a bad place means you just lose all of your momentum and it's very hard to gain it back.
Ignis looking for the move here on Adam Jarvis, the former champion rivals in GT3 AM, recently promoted to GT3 Pro, but he's not going to be close enough to dive down the inside here, so that better exit from turn.
Avali's off the track, front wing off, excuse me, or rear wing, excuse me, and he's stuck.
Suspension's broken, yeah. It's towed, so no need for a safety car. Ignis pushing Jarvis now.
Wild series of events here. Yeah, this is like sort of like the two philosophies of the tow at Watkins Glen. That's really overly fancy way of putting it. You can either get it in early and hold the curb all the way through the inside, as we get a replay here of what happens. Just get a bit of curb. Tries to dive the inside. Ooh, that's a bit late to make that. Oh, and he gets pinched. Avali and Ross were battling for a while there, and just a little bit of contact, and Avali gets in the barrier.
What happened to Roman Dubert as well? Oh, no.
Not that. Oh, does he get a curb here?
Oh.
Yeah, I think he just gets a little bit of the curb on the inside, unsettles the car, and just loops it. Gentle tap on the barrier and exit. Rough time. And Yannick Gerard's also in trouble. Weird place to have a crash.
Oh, he's on the grass on the entry. Yeah, it's going to really unsettle the car on the way in.
Yep.
Oh, and waits nicely. So, bonus, well, a gold star from race control for not coming back on the track too eagerly. Not that it means much. So this battle now is for P2 really, because Adam Jarvis is all over the back and Matteo Ubertali, and it's probably saving him from Ignis right now. Jose Carlos Villarrejo has also had another incident. Not sure what happened here going into the bus stop.
I have a bad feeling he's about to take a big bite of some curb. Oh, Palantinori given a 10-second penalty for collision under blue flags.
That'll be when he was trying to overtake. We've got leaders in. Albert Preem. Albert Preem not in the pit lane. What's happened here?
I think Preem's already
Yeah,
out of the pit
Prima
lane.
is already out of the pit lane, yes. Apologies. Bit of a lap ago. Other cars around him are in the pit lane. That penalty for Paolo Antinori, but when he tried to re-overtake Matteo Lemire and unlap himself, caused a collision which mainly affected him, but he's basically out of the race anyway. He's still in the pit lane, but
Race control having none of it, either way. So the Kemeldar is the only car yet to pit in the GTP fields. Prima already pitted. Trying to find a 305 on my track.
oh, it's going to be close.
Yeah,
Prima is going to
turn out.
still have the lead as Alvaro Gutierrez makes his way out of the pit lane. You are off the limiter for all of his pits, so you can build up speed, but Prima is well clear of these guys.
Oof.
A couple of seconds up the road, it looks like.
Presumably Kemeldar does not have the fuel to do another lap, so it should be in this lap. GT3s, excuse me, also filtering in over time. Fulcrum, Tali, Jarvis, the last remnants, staying on track right now.
I've seen Adam Jarvis do different things with fuel in the past.
As yep, the 305 Vermeer Kemeldar does come into the pit lane. And now all eyes on Albert Preem, who has a bit of traffic in his way to contend with. You'll see him there on your screen, dive down the inside of Adam Jarvis. Perfectly executed move.
Oh, Jarvis then
Switch the GT3
quickly dives to the inside of Uber Tardy. That'll give Jarvis a bit of a smile on his face.
I think I'll also put a small smile on Kemeldar's face as it's going to slow up as he tries to get the fight on pit exit going.
Oh, I hope you've seen him coming back on, and he has. And it's to the pit lane for these two GT3s. Oh, he's going into the back
Jarvis.
of him. Jarvis makes big gains on pit entry.
Yes. And the 305 leaving the pit lane now won't be 5th. I think it's going to be 6th place. And I just get up to speed. Kemeldar just hold 4th place. Never mind. Thought it would take a bit longer to get up to pace there, but no, Kemeldar's holding off Ross right now, who's got a bit more speed.
He's just looking for a way
Trying
past.
to look around the outside. I think he's got the call that there's a car left. It's going to be side by side under braking, and Kemeldar just way braver on those brakes. Gets it slowed down nicely.
If you go for
Take
the
position.
outside into the bus stop, you've got to be really clear of the car that you're overtaking, otherwise you've got no chance. If you're overtaking, you want to get that car down the inside and outbrake them. Oh, and they've done the contact there, surely no.
Oh, I think I chose a bad time to take a sip. I did not expect that dive attempt from Ross.
I tell you what,
Does
Ignis has
this-
played a blinder here by pitting a lap early. He's jumped the likes of Matteo Ubertali and Adam Jarvis. Adam Jarvis leading out to Yannick Gerards as well. Can he defend into the bus stop? That's going to be the question. Will it be inside or outside for Matteo Ubertali? It's neither. He backs off into the braking zone as they go through, all with a slightly different line, and that is Yannick Gerards,
Charlie
loose set
Glass.
of Matteo Ubertali alongside him.
You know, Tali just couldn't get the exit of that bus stop together, took us up to the grass, lost position because of it, and Gerards will take control of 4th place. And the fight's still on behind, as Jarvis would quite like to get those positions back. Donk now chasing down Ross. Takes a big bite of curb there. Looking quite far back, there's going to be a struggle to get anything going, I think. So Albert Preem leads the GTP, Caballero and Gutierrez chasing him. More Piers 1.3 second lead in a 7-second interval to Ignis Vintarevsky's in the GT3 Pro category. Renzo Kirk on his debut for the IMSA Series for Ernstl Racing, currently P1 GT3 AM, currently in Sven Elmers and Ted Jan Bloemen. With about half this race still to go, a huge chain of GT3 cars just chasing each other, trying to fight for position right now. See Adam Jarvis on the tail of this fight, trying to keep pace with the cars in front to go back to the Verdonk Ross fight. Verdonk's livery there at the bottom, not quite accurate, but the Dutch driver trying to make gains. If he gets a good turn 1, obviously, there's always a chance of making the run into the bus stop, but given the way these two have been driving, I have a sneaky suspicion Ross might just pull away a bit again here. Just not able to get that turn 1 right, and it affects the entire run, because if you lose speed in turn 1, you are down on speed all the way up this hill, all the way down the straight. Long straight, keep it in mind. And then your next braking zone is here for the bus stop. You lose so much time there.
Terry Vitali looking for a way back past off that mistake in the bus stop.
Gerard's looking to hold him off for now. Just about keeps it on track there. Trying to take every advantage he can. Hypercar giving chase. That is Wanto Vale, P8 right now. And we'll just hang a left. Does he go for the triple play? Oh, a bit late in the day to be doing that.
And he's gonna try and stick around the outside, and they're not having any of it in the GT3 field.
Does just about avoid major collision.
Oh, but Don was looking for a way past that, and he nearly found one. He just needs to nail that turn 1. If he nails turn 1, I think he'll be in a very good position to make a dive into the bus stop, but needs to back off the throttle a little bit earlier and focus on the exit. So if you build that momentum...
could do wonders for Verdonk here, though, because that's going to slow up
Russell. And
he goes 3 wide, straight down the middle. Will have the speed as well, and Verdonk has the position, at least temporarily. Ross might look to make a counter dive in turn 1, but falls back in line, and Verdonk has taken control of P5.
If Ross can get a good run here, and it looks like he stayed close enough, he can make a move into the bus stop. Put the battery back onto attack. It'll be worth it in the long term if you can make the move here, and it looks like he's going to try it.
Very close as long as you can. No, he's not going to make it. It is a long stroke, but it does not look that long, and Ross just runs out of time. But now the GT3 counterplay forces both drivers around the outside, thinking could Ross get the pinch move going, get to Verdonk's outside and force him to stay behind the GT3, but no. Verdonk gets to the outside in time and will hold the position for now. Ross did make a slip here last time, so see if we can keep this distance coming through the infield section, for lack of a better phrase. I guess it's the outfield section here.
Let's have a look what happened to Roman Dubert.
I believe we'll just call that a cell spin and infer Dubert's double contact with the barrier, trying to keep out of everyone's way. And has unfortunately abandoned the session. So Dubert probably finishing P14 overall, I believe.
As they make their way back through the traffic, Preem is under attack once again from Caballero, who's going to have a better exit from turn 1 than the Dutchman.
Does have to take a little bit more wheel though through the S's. So a little bit more offset coming to bus stop. No chance of a move here. But again, with the Ross Verdonk fight, you can get close up through the S's, but if you can't stay close on the boot section, it's all for naught, unfortunately.
Yeah, you would definitely say that's the closest he's been today, though.
So this is the last round of traffic. It's not quite over yet for Preem. He's got a few cars in front of him, and this can be your opportunity. Just over half this race to go, so I would like Cabanera's going to just get ruined there. As Elmer's hunting down Verkerk.
So Elmer's with that early pit stop is on the back of the leader, who is 10 seconds behind at one point, and Dave Van Eck is 12 seconds behind this. So I don't know if he had a shorter pit stop. Just trying to find, he was 41 seconds in the pit stop, 14 seconds stationary, whereas the driver he was racing, which was someone I can't see on the...
So he if he pitted
was he
early,
racing
he will...
Verkerk? I can't remember who they were racing now, if I'm totally honest.
Verkerk and Dave Van Eck were racing now? I can't remember. It feels like a lifetime
ago. Definitely Sven Elmers. Definitely Sven Elmers, but I can't remember who he was racing with.
Oh, it was Elmers and Eck, yes, it was 2 E's.
Yeah, yes it was, looking at the car. can very much remember that now. So Van Eck was 4 seconds longer stationary. So
that doesn't surprise me.
yeah, he pitted a bit later, so would have had more room.
Yeah, so you'll
in
need
the
more
tank.
fuel in the car. The problem's going to come on the next pit stop then for Elmer's, because
yeah.
now he's going to need more fuel to get to the end of the race. So the advantage he's gained now is temporary, but we'll see if he can get some temporary track position at the very least, if he can get the move done on Verkerk here. Elsewhere, Prima Cabinero, Prima pulling away a little bit. Gutierrez still in the hunt for second place, but not quite able to get there just yet. Morphy and Falk looking quite close, at least on the timing tower, for the leading GT3 Pro. So, here is that battle, Morphy in the BMW leading Falk in the Ferrari.
Just over half race distance here as well. Still plenty to play for in the remaining 26 minutes.
Just got a bit of space themselves as well, which is always nice. When you get these sort of one-on-one battles over extended period of time and you don't have GT3s, that's where you can really sort of figure out, okay, where am I making my advantages, where is my... Especially if you're the chasing car, it can be very helpful just to figure out what your opponent's doing if you're losing time. So then you can figure out how to change your line to get that advantage back. And we see when the hypercar comes past it, you're both offset anyway, so it becomes meaningless information, but a lot of information that Falk can get here that's very useful. There's another hypercar goes past. They'll close up under braking a little bit. Big chunk of curb here for the Ferrari driver. Looks to the inside. And again, this is sort of, do you want to take the ideal race? Or, I don't know, this the shorter line, if you will, you're holding the curb all the way through the corner, or do you want to take a slightly wider entry, but then have a more straight line exit so you can build more speed out? So, I'll sort of do the opposite of what they did through the carousel in the boot. Falk going wider and Morphy going a bit more inside there. You see how close Falk is though. Shows the bumper, goes for the
down
dive,
inside.
will get given the space, and I think he's made the pass. Falk, I'm surprised. Morphy outbroke it hard, but Morphy decides not to fight it too hard, gives the position over to Falk, and they'll go P1, P2 from there.
Yeah, I'm seeing Morphy's having done 2 pit stops, but I believe that's some sort of glitch on the system as well, showing at the same time. If they are on the same strategy, Morphy into the pits on lap 10, Oriel Falk also into the pits on lap 14, so Morphy with that shorter stop, that's how he got out front in the first place, so he's going to have to do a longer stop next time, so Oriel Falk re-inherits the lead.
Meanwhile, Vincerevsky's incident for Ross. Big loose through the boot.
Tags the wall, but all things considered, are we pretty happy with that outcome, I think?
Yes. So Vincerevsky's Garage, Vitaly Jarvis still very close in the GT3 Pro category. Verkerk and Elmer's still in this dogfight. Hypercar field has calmed down significantly. It's all quiet for now. Obviously, this stage of the race with all the drivers spread out across their strategies and whatever it is they're trying to do. There's no like big chunk of traffic that the hypercars need to carve through. So this should just be a fairly patient battle between these two with the occasional, oh wait, we need to let this car past. But Elmer's is staying competitive with Verkerk here.
Oh, instant for Jeffrey Ross.
Not another one.
Oh no.
This.
Getting all towers
Environmental
about
storytelling
that.
at its finest, yep.
Oh, and smashes into a wall.
That is what we call a get a tow going, because that car is not making it back to pit road under its own power. Yeah, maybe it's just tyre wear that's got to Ross. That car looked like a handful to drive, and I think he's just trying to push a little bit too hard, trying to make lap time, and a strong meeting with the barrier should give him a long pit stop if anything else. Wish everyone does have access to one fast repair for the race. So we could potentially get back out. I don't know what the situation with that is, but we'll be behind a bit just because he obviously needs to take that tow. Gutierrez and Carriero looking a bit closer to print than they were previously, but you'll forgive my lack of enthusiasm on this fight just because we've seen them sort of concertina up a bit through traffic, and then we've seen both of them drive away from each other, from Caballero and the Caballero from Gutierrez respectively, so I'm not expecting anything, but Keldar and Verdonk looking quite close as well further back in the field. Ooh. That looked like a bit of a suboptimal line there for Keldar, and now he's really got Verdonk pressuring, who will hug the inside line. Looking very close, a little too far back to make a dive in my opinion. Looking very aggressive. If you can stay this close and just get turn one hooked up properly, there's a good chance for a dive into the bus stop chicane. Or just into turn one, just do it the old-fashioned way. But it just gets a little bit offset here as Gutierrez comes into the pit lane. Again, a little earlier than the normal strategy would indicate, but definitely can make it to the end of the race from here.
He's just trying something different. He was stuck in that bubble behind his teammates, so maybe looking for a bit of clean air, and Maldog gets a little bit loose on turn one, but Verdonk maybe doesn't have quite as much success in passing far in front, so I think the bus stop is going to be difficult this time round.
If you go for that move, you're a psychopath. I'm going to say Verdonk is going to stay in line. So yeah, I think one of the issues might be with just getting a little too much dirty air coming through some of these sections to really get that gap going between the fight for the lead. So I do like the strategy attempt here from Gutierrez. Go, okay, I'm just going to offset, take a slightly longer pit stop, get the car topped. Not even a slightly longer pit stop, you need the same amount of fuel anyway. Just take it now, try and get a bit of offset going and see if I can make some position elsewhere on the track. Pit window opening about 5 to 10 minutes, I would say, for most drivers. Verdonk still looking very close to the back of Keldar. It's Caballero and Preem looking very close. This is going to be traffic though. This is the main GT3 fight that's going on. So
up in turn one. He crashed for Albert Preem as he tried to make his way through the traffic. Let's take a replay of that and see exactly what happened.
Immediately under investigation.
We cut to this at the right time, down the inside, and just catches a rear corner. And does he hit the wall just? But he's going to be able to carry on, I think. Yeah. So where's he come out? He's still running P2, but he has got a meatball. But it looks like he's still able to at least drive it, even if it's not at an optimal pace. So he's going to get it back to the pit lane, do that fast repair, and try a recovery drive. But he's about 10 seconds off the lead right now. He's pushing. He is pushing, so it's not completely broken.
I can tell that left front is not at the right angle. We'll be able to get it to pit lane. We won't lose too much time in the grand scheme of things, but in the grand scheme of things, you are in a 2-second battle for P3. You are going to fall down the order here, unfortunately, for Albert Preem. I'd be very careful overtaking these GT3s again.
Yeah, that McLaren diving down the inside is the car that he had the contact with. Yeah,
it just looked like the GT3 expected Preem. I think I don't know who it was. Did you still expect him to get a little bit more on the curb than he was? So that means that Preem's gonna get it into the pit lane here after that incident. Obviously, if he's got the fast repair, we'll be able to get back on track fairly quickly, but yeah, just a rough deal there, and that means Caballero has inherited the lead.
Yeah, and all that as well, Matteo Batali got back past Ignas Vincerevskis and up into P2 once again. So this battle's going to go on and on and on, and Ignas is already looking to move himself back up into P2 in GT3 Pro and GT3 overall. I think there's going to be a move here.
Batali holding that inside line for dear life.
Oh, and there's going to be contact on the way in.
And that was inevitable. I think if Batali's holding a line like that, you know you're setting yourself up for a car trying to go around the outside like that.
Albert Preem back out after the fast repair. Instant is under investigation by race controllers, I believe he said, Kirby. We're waiting for the outcome of that.
Gutierrez and Verdonk, the cars in front, have taken pit stops already, just for an idea of where that gap lies.
Gutierrez wasn't too far off the lead, so he's about 13 seconds off where he needs to be. Let's see what he can do. He's stuck behind his teammate here in the GT3 car, so he won't be too happy about that. Doesn't even know where to go, but I think he will be on a bit of a power drive now, so we're going to watch those lap times and those sector times and see what he's able to do.
But you have to make, what is that, 13 seconds you said, in 15 minutes, and Gutierrez is no slouch. We saw him fighting to at least stay with the leaders. I think Preem is... I don't want to say done because he can still get a decent points finish out of it, but in terms of winning this race, yeah, he's out of it. Unless we get the miracle safety car, which at this point in the race, I think Andy would have to slip to press the button to get a safety car. Yeah, I think it's just going to have to be a points race for Preem from the end here. Vitali's still holding off Vincerevskis and Jarvis. Falk has driven away from the GT3 field, obviously pit stops have a chance to change that. Morphy, the leader of the drivers who have taken their second pit stop, and Vincerevskis, is that a 15-second time penalty? I believe it is.
That's for turning in on Albert Preem. So Ignas went very happy with that, because that's going to drop him out of this fight. At the moment, it would only drop him to P5, but I believe he's got another pit stop to make compared to Daniel Morphy. Yes, he does.
Yes. So Morphy, Gerards, Elmer's down. The drivers that have taken their second pit stop. This battle that we're seeing in the GT3 Pro field right now, all drivers yet to pit.
Okay, so
Caballero comes in from the leads. Gutierrez, the driver we have to watch out for. So, Jarvis currently behind Vincerevskis. He obviously do that second penalty as currently a bit of a roadblock for the Brits. So Gutierrez will swing around the outside here, he'll come through. Caballero is moving on pit exit and looks to be out already. I think Caballero is going to hold on to second place quite excellently here.
Yeah, and he's about 15 seconds up the road, so that's how much that incident cost Albert Preem. Could have been a lot worse for him, of course.
Just Emre Kemeldar yet to pit. Obviously, I think he was the last to pit the first time around, getting 16 laps out of his fuel tank. Incident for Daniel Morphy, and I think this is just going to be a wall tap. Yep. Just pushing a little bit too hard on that last corner. You do it sometimes. As long as the car doesn't get too banged up from it, you'll just go, okay, let's just dial it back a little bit from there on out. Yeah. So yeah, Kemeldar comes in to take the final service. Comes in from the lead of the hypercar fields. That'll just get topped up on fuel here. Shouldn't be a too long pit stop. Probably a short one compared to the rest of the field as well, because he has done that 16 laps the first time around. They're only 14 on seconds. Should it average out okay? Obviously, Caballero going to close that gap very quickly. Speeding through the last two corners.
Ariel Fault was briefly off track then, the leader in GT3 Pro, but he's carried on his way.
Caballero through, Gutierrez through, Kemeldar through. Caballero will take the lead of this race then. And I think it's all quite down across the track. So for Kemeldar is getting a little spicy going through the bus stop chicane, trying to make a move around Matteo Limeray, both on outlaps. Cold tyres not doing either of them any favours. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit aggressive through the bus stop, but so Caballero, your leader, Gutierrez, Kemeldar, Duncan, Preem, Falk holds the leader, GT3 Pro, still over Batali, who again has that 15-second penalty. No, that's Vincerevsky's. I am losing my mind, my apologies. Batali does not have a penalty. He is in second place ahead of Jarvis and Daniel Morpy. And Rins Kirk has leader GT3 Amfield. Elmers and Dave Van Eyck look like they've fallen off the back of him for now. Ooh, that sounded like a heavy hit there for the GT3 car behind Caballero.
Trying to find the car number.
51. Michael Kellenberger looks like the right paint.
Yeah, got away with it clearly. Can't find a instant point of reference. Going to see what happened.
He's playing tricks on me, evidently. So Falk, Ubertali and Jarvis looks like they've pitted together. See what Morpy comes out. He did take the lead momentarily on the first round of pit stops. See if he can do the same again. Has 3 laps on this stint.
Just to point out the big championship implications for instant for Preem, who currently only about 18 points behind ahead of Eloy Caballero. That's taking into account a drop round for each of those drivers as well, so it's not going to help Albert. This will be his lowest finish of the season, I believe, so it will probably become his drop round and he may lose the lead of the championship. Michael really out in the grass there.
Oh, Vincenzo and Jarvis side by side, coming up the S's briefly there. Shotgun fight for P4.
Jarvis needs to be careful here. He'll want to catch Ubertali ahead, but he should know that Vincerevsky's has that 15-second time penalty, so he doesn't want to do anything too risky because Vincerevsky's got nothing to lose at this point.
But obviously, if you're being held up by Vincerevsky's as Jarvis, you want to catch Ubertali. Both those drivers and Falk, the P1 driver right now, have come out the pit lane. More P slots into P2. It's a hard race here for Jarvis. I think he's just been stuck in a bad position here behind the driver with the penalty. So he doesn't want to push too hard, but he needs to get a move on if he wants to get more positions on track.
They are both gaining on Ubertali though. Been towed along nicely. As long as he doesn't feel like he's been held up, it's not a bad position to be in. There's the 007, is that behind them? No. 10 of Juanto Vale makes his way through fairly reasonably, you have to say that.
So now I see, every time I see me move to turn 10, I'm going to get a little bit scared. Oh, Jarvis looks to the inside. Vincerevsky should give
one
this
and
up.
they bang wheels.
No, he's not giving this up. He's going to pinch him straight down to the apron.
Jarvis gives him room to come back on. They're losing a lot of time here to the car in front. They're really slowing each other down by running side by side, and And Sureski's, like you say, he's not going to give it up.
Almost gets pinched off there.
Jarvis got that
side by side.
Inside line, a bit of overspeed as they ban wheels again, and that's given him body damage. And that was a 4x. Ray Control will be on them about that. As Vince Orestes holds the position somehow, and that sends Jarvis out wide.
No!
Jarvis must have some sort of damage. Yeah, he has. Really looks unstable, the car there. Let's see if we can get an onboard shot and see what the steering's like.
Instant call by Race Control Racing Incident.
That is for that most recent one as well. I'm sure Jarvis will agree with that.
Like, I understand the ruling of Racing Incident there, but I'm like, what is Vincerevsky's plan here? Like, you have a 15-second. Unless, like, do you think he's got a strong enough case to put the time penalty, maybe? But I'm not sure he does.
I'm not sure he does either. I'm not really sure what the play is here from him. Jarvis looks to be going alright again with some decent sector times, actually. Yeah, so he's recovered in that third sector.
It might not have been damage that caught him off. He was pinched very hard to the inside of the
He's lost the position to Yannick Gerards here, though. Who's going to have to get back past him. I wonder if Vincerevsky's has got damage as well.
I would be surprised. It was a side-by-side contact on a straight. It didn't look that hard. I'm surprised it actually gave damage to either of them, to be honest. It'll be minor, I believe. Yeah, I just don't know why he was fine. I digress. It's his race. He's free to race it how he wishes, but just some very aggressive pinching going on there for the Lithuanian driver. Flashing the lights from the GTP behind.
It's a teammate car there, yeah.
Yep. So Gerard's going to be next to try and apply pressure to Vincerevsky's. They were fairly close to Batali before, but now that gap's expanded to almost 4 seconds.
Yeah, I think that side-by-side running up the hill really cost them a lot of speed, and then going side-by-side into the bus stop as well cost them a lot of time to the car in front. Gerard's gaining quite effectively here, actually, as Albert Bream makes his way past Vincerevsky's and comes back across quite harshly on the car that took him out of the lead of the race. I think just showing his unhappiness there with the Lithuanian driver.
So Camareras, Lilies, Gutierrez and Kemmels are in the GTPs. Verkerk, Elmers, Van Eck, as they've run for most of the race in the AM category for GT3. Falkland Cooks, he's got the run of Morpini Battalion in the GT3 Pro, but further down the field we have this battle for fourth place. Vincerevsky's does have the time penalty on him currently, but Gerards wants to get the move done on track. Jarvis still hunting as well.
Very deep there for Vincerevsky's, and you can see the time flying down. He's getting a couple of attempts already on this straight. He's going to have a really good chance if he can place the car nicely. He can get down the inside. It's going to be really hard. We've seen Vincerevsky's hold it out with Jarvis, but if he can get alongside, and he's not close enough really. As the GTP comes through, and that could help him out here. He gets on the power a lot better. I think we might see him try for a move somewhere this lap.
The problem is there's no good overtaking points for GT3s until you get back to turn 1 realistically, unless Vincerevsky make a big slip, which is possible. It's just, given the way Gerards has been able to close under braking.
Looks like Vincerevsky's really struggling for grip at this stage. I don't know if he didn't change tyres when maybe some others have, or he's just used the fronts a little bit more, but he's struggling for that mid-corner grip, and you can see him having to slow it down a lot more in the corners that limit the front slip. Gerards is all over him, looking for a way through. If he can stay this close through the final section, he'll either have a go into turn 1, and if not, if he gets nicely packed up in turn 1, like he was last time, but maybe lift off a little bit earlier on the entry and maximise the exit even more, since he knows that Vincerevsky's is going to struggle for front grip through there. We'll get a mega run up to the bus stop.
closes up under braking, gets it turned a lot better. Yeah, Vince Grabowski has to take the run off just to try and keep the momentum in the car.
He's about a tenth closer than he was this time last lap, but he's not gaining the rate he was last lap. He's started to pick up a real slipstream now and see it coming down and down and down, but I don't think it's going to be enough for a move here, unfortunately.
Not that he's going to show the bumper, just to spook him a little bit, but yeah.
You see him really pushing
What's
the
happening?
track.
Gutierrez and Keldar looking very close on track as well. Battle for P2 in the hypercar field. So I've got two things to keep on top of, which is always fun.
We'll keep an eye on this. We know that the move is going to be difficult for Gerard's anywhere else around the lap. Tell you what though, I think they're alongside. He's trying to go around the outside.
Ooh. That's never going to work.
Oh, and he's all over the back of him here. He might try for a move into the hairpin at the end of the straight.
Does he have the speed?
Yeah, he's going to go for it. Oh no, shows a bumper and backs out.
Nah, I like that. You've shown you can close the gap reliably. Just spook him. Just spook him. That's all you need to do here. Force the error.
Maldar going for the move down the inside within a tenth, and no, backs out of it. Can he follow through the bus stop? He can. It's really impressive stuff there. He's clearly got a lot of grip. Guys trying to take the 1-2 away from the Iridium Motorsports team round the outside into the boot.
No, just set up for the exit. You can maybe just generate your own overtake opportunity here. It's getting closed off a lot though. Oh, dives him! Switchback attempts. Keldar can't quite get it inside though.
It's a purple sector 1. Oh, Maldar.
Wouldn't surprise me, he's just burning through the remnants of his battery here, just trying to make this move happen. He is all over the rear bumper. Back to the Gerard's Vincerevski's fight momentarily, because they got a huge run down in towards the bus stop.
I think this is going to be the one. No, he's too late again. Vincerevski's hit some wall on the entry. He was very close if he didn't.
Jarvis is the problem with GT3s.
He just pushed me out.
Oh,
Come on, gets him on the run to the line. Identical race finish time from the two of them, it looks like. Oh, Gutierrez thinks that they made contact in the final corner. We'll take another look at that. We're just going to watch this Gerard's fight to the finish.
I was being so entertained by the race, I forgot it had to end at some point. Caballero wins!
Completely missed that, but Gerard's is going to try. This will be his last attempt if he can. Race controller already looking at that instant at the front.
Where did you say you were forced into the wall?
Ooh.
Bro, not in the last lap.
What's he saying? Gerard's is unhappy about something there on the last lap. I'm not sure what it was.
Well, we've got the post-race, so we'll be able to look at some replays. I think that was Jarvis who took the wall. They'll finish in position 4, 5, 6. Rod's Vincerevski's, Jarvis Vincerevski's with that penalty. Will drop down the order here.
Oh, just missed it on that replay. Just take it back a little bit. Everyone ignore this and pretend you're not seeing it. So, Kamaldar's going to go down the inside. Oh, and then... I don't know if there was contact.
I think they were both ending up in that wall, whatever happened, from that first glance.
Nice race, Dave.
Oh, he went off the track. I think that's maybe what he's unhappy about. Yeah, he did. He picked up a 1x to go around the outside, did he? Yeah, Emre Kamaldar picked up a 1x to force his way down the inside. I think that's maybe what he's suggesting. Yeah, and then he... well, I don't know.
That is a problem for race control to solve.
They were identical across the finish line as well.
Oh, so Gerards wasn't happy with the last lap either. This is the run towards the line.
I'm trying to see if we can find anything on any of their race logs.
I think he might just have to take a
I think this is
defensive manoeuvre or something.
Yeah. Oh shit. Andrew Kirk getting loose in.
Let me...
I can't find what instant he would be referring to.
Let
Perhaps
me see if I can
this.
find this.
No, that's post race.
I'd like to think Gerards would be sensible enough to complain about a race against them that happened during the race instead of after it.
Yeah, I can't find anything else, so we'll wait to see what race control make of it. Igor Caballero, after all, that was your race winner.
I'm looking at the replay on my end. No, I don't see anything that would be worth... Look, he tags the wall, but that's it. Either way, dramatic conclusion to the end of this race. Caballero does indeed win the race overall, as we get the slow-mo replay of him getting the run towards the line. He'll lead Emre Kemeldar for DLR SimLab, and the Iridium Motorsports teammate of Alvaro Gutierrez will round out the podium. Quinton Verdonk comes home in P4 for Pandemonium Esports, with Albert Priem going P5 for Dutch League Racing. Colin Spons, the privateer entry, comes home in 6th ahead of Juanto Ovale for Iridium Motorsports, and Jeffrey Ross, last under the lead lap for Velotti Racing, comes home in 8th with Liam de Kock rounding out the field, a lap down also for Velotti Racing. Over in the GT3 Pro category, air quote brackets, these times are subject to penalties that we definitely know. I don't know if these are added. No, they can't.
No, they won't have been added yet.
Either way, Oriel Falk, your winner overall, definitely clean there, with Daniel Morphy coming home in P2, Matteo Batali in P3 for Absolute Motorsport Aislith, Ignis Vincerevski's penalty still serve, finishes at least ahead on track of Yannick Gerards and Adam Jarvis for Laconic Racing. Roman Dubert and Mark Lopez will round out the field, being 19 and 33 laps down respectively.
Yeah,
Rens Verkerk, on his debut for the GT3 M category for Still Racing League, comes home and wins the damn race. Not a bad showing there. Sven Elmers comes home in P2 ahead of Dave Van Eyck for Velocity Racing, as Ted-Jan Bloemen, last car to finish on the lead lap in the category. Michael Kellenberg for MGE Sports and Matteo Lemeray for Drakheim Racing Team both finished one lap down, with Paolo Antonori for Motorsport Aislith and Jose Carlos Villarejo for Go Esports both retiring early in the race.
And we're joined by Emre Kamaldar finishing P2 in class, and Oriel Falk, who won GT3 Pro. We'll go to you first, Oriel. I know at one point you weren't leading when Daniel did a slightly different pit stop strategy, but in essence you led most of the race. So what was the biggest challenge out there today?
I mean, I've raced a lot on GT3s, on the Ferrari, on Watkins Glen. It's quite easy to do fuel saving, but it's mostly about keeping it cool, not destroying your tires. It's those long sweeping corners, so there's a bit of like gestion you have to do on those tires to just survive till the end. So basically, yeah. When I saw Daniel, I didn't know. He's always on alternate strategies that we don't know. The rest we have to guess a bit. So yeah, I just tried to stick with him, and it worked. And then yeah, keeping it cool till the end.
Well, congratulations on another win. I think that extends your championship lead. So, yeah, congratulations, yeah. Not much else to say, really.
It just seemed like a calm, cool, collected day for you. I don't think you had much trouble going through anything going towards the race, unless we missed something.
The other day I had trouble with GTPs. This time I have to say the contrary. Now it was mostly clean on them, and they were doing like nice overtakes. So I appreciate that. It makes us the life way easier. It's always difficult now, and it feels good to finally win a race where the faster car doesn't crash himself or is disqualified. So for now, it's a good feeling.
Well, speaking of the other class of cars, Emre Keldar, P2 in the GTP category for you overall. How did your race end up going? Because it seemed quite dramatic from where we were sitting.
Yeah, that's why I joined, man. I had some fun the last 3 laps, so I thought I came and say thanks to Alvaro to have a nice battle with him. My race went especially good on pace, did some fuel saving, and in the end had an awesome battle with the guys.
Yeah, it really brought the race alive in the final few minutes. It was pretty close racing. It was great to watch.
The last 3 laps, the race came for me alive. I was in an island, and some out of nowhere, I saw Alvaro in front of me, and also Eloy, and we had some amazing battles, I think.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the P2, and I think we'll leave it there for our interviews. Thanks for joining us, guys, and good luck in next week's race.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, we are back next week in the Ansel Racing IMSA series for another race at Hockenheim, a series favourite, and then we're back again the week after for a race at Fuji Speedway. So Hockenheim next week. I think we've got potentially mixed weather conditions there as well. We'll see what it's like when we get to the event. So we hope to see you all then. Kirby, any rounding out thoughts for this week's event?
Please stop trying to make 2 wide into the bus stop at Watkins Glen happen. It's not going to happen. One of you is going to perish, and I do not care which. Yeah,
and I think we can say every single replay we saw a car on the straight going into the bus stop, we knew what was going to happen straight away.
Environmental storytelling at its finest.
If there is one corner on any track that is always difficult, it's the bus stop. You have to be on the limit to be even remotely on pace through there. All right.
Which is why I'm not on pace on this track.
That's a very good point. All right. Thank you very much, everybody that joined us today, and we'll see you next week.